Hello, everyone. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world, and welcome to our first DigiPride panel of 2022, the rising stars of streaming. I'm super looking forward to this. We have 4 amazing streamers who have been named in our inaugural LGBTQ Streamer Rising Star class of 2022, right here asking questions. And I'm asking questions, they're answering questions. So welcome everyone. DigiPride is presented by Xbox and sponsored by 2K, Ally, Arcade Spirits, The New Challengers, Devolver Digital, and Wizards of the Coast. Thanks to all of those wonderful sponsors for making this happen. And of course, you can find out more about everything coming up over the next 3 months on gaming at gamingmag.com/DigiPride. Also, a big thank you to Shure for sponsoring this panel and for being a sponsor of the LGBTQ Rising Star Prize package for this year's Gaming Awards. There's a Q&A on the end of this panel, so please hold your questions back until the end, and then we can put them in chat for us to answer. Now, let me get rid of this screen and bring on another screen. Please welcome all of our rising stars, or the people on this panel at least. We have fantastic ItsMeHolly. We have the wonderful Awkwardish Panda. There we go. We have the fantastic LukeBoogie, and of course, CoderGirlChan. You are all muted at the moment, so let me just take your mutes off. There we go.
Hello.
How are we?
Hey.
We're free to speak. Happy Pride.
Happy Pride.
Happy Pride, everyone. How are you all doing?
Doing okay. How are you?
Grand.
Awesome.
Good.
Doing great.
Good. Having the classic game magazine tech issues whenever I'm in charge. So we'll be in for a good ride. It'll be a fun evening. It'll be a fun night. It'll be a fun day. Okay, so let's kick off. I'm going to do a quick whip round of the table, of the virtual table, for introductions. Give me a rough rundown where you are in the world, and how long have you been streaming for? Let's kick off with those questions. Holly, let's go you first.
Hello. Well, my name is ItsMeHolly, and I am coming to you live from Seattle. So it is about 1 p.m., but for me, this is my morning. So good morning, everybody. Welcome to today. And I have been streaming for about a year and a half, coming up on a year and a half. I started in December of 2020. So if I can do math correctly, which I hope that I can, about a year and a half. Did I answer?
Awesome.
Did I miss a question?
So I'm Awkwardish
it's
Panda.
all good.
I am in the Midwest US. I live just outside of Chicago. I've been streaming since right before Holly, actually. I started the middle of November. So my 18 months was last week.
Brilliant.
My name is Luke. I'm from Scotland. I have been streaming for just over 2 years. I started the end of April 2020, when the pandemic kind of kicked off and I needed a distraction.
And Chanel.
Cool. So I'm CoderGirlChan, or you can call me Chanel. I'm from Ontario, Canada, Southern Ontario, Canada. Kind of close to Toronto, but not really there. I started streaming beginning of October 2020. So actually not 2020, 2021. So right in the middle of the pandemic, I guess. I don't know. We're still in it. So I don't know what the middle is anymore. But yeah.
Awesome. Let's have a quick get to know you all a little bit more about your streams, and then we'll kind of dive into some of the deeper questions. Let's go in reverse order. So I want to know, what's your stream's vibe, and what games do you like to play on stream? So we'll start with Chanel, and then we'll go backwards up through the screen.
Sure. So my vibe, I would say, is just kind of, for the most part, pretty chill, but also sometimes just a big mess. We just like to have fun. You know, we dance and sing, and we play lots of co-op games together. I've been playing a lot of Knockout City lately. That's a really fun co-op game. Stardew Valley, sometimes Dead by Daylight I'll throw in there. Obviously lots of Among Us in the back there. So, you know, lots of just like fun games to play with a ton of people. And sometimes we'll throw in horror games, which is like absolutely a horrible thing for me because I can't handle them, but we play them anyway.
Awesome. Love all of that. Luke.
I would say I'm a loose variety streamer. I'll pretty much find a good like a really good game that me and my community enjoy, and I will play the death of it, and then I'll just kind of stumble upon the next game, and I'll just play that. Like I went from like an Elden Ring streamer to a Stardew Valley streamer in like a month or so. As for the vibe you would get, I know this exactly because I asked recently, and the top 3 answers were funny, wholesome, and unpredictable. So you can take from that what you will.
Love it. Pan.
So our vibe is cozy chaos in my community. I actually don't game that much. I do game when I do. It's usually chill games like The Sims. For a while I was playing New World. New World was a lot of fun because I was a big MMO player when I first got started gaming. But we do a lot of crafting. We do a lot of like TTRPG stuff. TTRPG crafting, that kind of thing. Like I paint minis, I crochet stuff, I cross stitch. A lot of it's got gaming themes or queer themes. And then like when we are playing games, I play a lot of The Sims. That's kind of what I've been doing a bunch of lately. And Arcade Spirits, that's another one that we're working our way through right now.
And a quick shout out, of course, to Arcade Spirits, new challengers, sponsors of DigiPride. Not product placement, hashtag not sponsored. Well, hashtag sponsored, but not that sponsored. Whatever. Holly, finish us off.
Hashtag loosely sponsored. I am a variety streamer. I totally relate to Luke, and like I will be gung ho in whatever it is that I am playing in that moment, and that is what I'm doing until I never want to see it again. Like I've gone from Animal Crossing to GeoGuessr, all sorts of stuff, but I love horror. Like there will always be elements of horror in my stream. I usually do a horror game at least once a week. But I also just recently played Disneyland Adventures. I also have picked up photoshopping on Canva, where I will give you an image of whatever you would like via me dragging images together on Canva. It is a mess. And I think like the vibe, Rita Book summed this up really well. Rita has said once that I have the ability to make any horror game comforting and any comfort game horrifying. And I think that sums it up.
That's amazing.
What a fantastic skill to have.
Yeah.
It's true actually, because I remember going into one of the first times I went into Holly's stream, it was like an animal, like a zoo simulator, Zoo Tycoon or something like that. And I went in and I was like, oh, Planet Zoo. And I was like, oh, that's gonna be really nice. And I go in and I thought the most horrific thing I've ever experienced.
I dug like a series of underground. If you don't know Planet Zoo, it's basically like it's Zoo Tycoon. If you ever played Zoo Tycoon as a kid, it's very much that. So I dug like a series of underground, a tunneling system that led to like a bunch of, I don't want to say the employees were trapped down there because, like I said, there was tunnels, so they could get out if they wanted to. But there was living quarters down there. There was some lions as well because it's a zoo. So, you know, I like to have fun. And I think that's nice.
Well, everyone give a quick shout out to Rita Book, who is in the audience, it seems, because they seem to have commented at that point. So, hey, Rita. Go on then. We talked about Pride a second ago. So, what's everyone's Pride been like so far? What's been the most highlight thing we've done? What's been the most exciting thing we've done? Have we just stayed indoors, hid? What's it been like for everyone?
It's been fun for me. I had my front page for the Rising Star thing last week on Monday. It was wild. It's the busiest my chat's ever been. We had so much fun. That's kind of the one big thing aside from this panel for this month for me. But other than that, it's been a lot of celebrating with the community and hanging out. We have a lot of queer folks who hang out in my community. So, you know, we all get to yell happy Pride at each other every day in a very merry get paid. Pay your queer creators, y'all. You know, it's a lot of that and hanging out with the community and getting to sit in for like the people who are on front page and people who are on the shelf and getting to meet new people and hang out. It's been a lot of fun for me anyway. Yeah. I'm currently working on a pansexual panda stuffy on stream. It's hilarious because it's so on brand.
How cute.
I'll be watching that. Yeah, for me, it's been really cool too. I had my front page on Thursday, played some Stardew, you know, just chilled out for a little bit. My stream team level up. We're doing a charity stream next week. We're playing Fall Guys, so we're raising money for charity there for I forget what the cause is, but it is LGBTQ related. I think we're still deciding on what we want to nail down. But yeah, we're playing some Fall Guys, celebrating it free to play, and just having some crazy custom matches and raising money for that. So that should be a really good time. Just did a tournament with hosted by Hydro and Losing Color. And that was so fun. And the winners got to donate to whatever charity they wanted to for that. And it was just a grand old time. So been having a great fun month.
They raised about $9,000 for that.
Yeah,
didn't they?
just over $9,000. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was so crazy. And it was like a really fun tournament because it was silly. You had little like challenges you had to do, and you were trying to make it like really meme worthy. It wasn't like, everyone was like really gung ho on winning or whatever. It was just, let's just have a really good time and raise some money for charity. So it was a blast.
Awesome.
My Pride's been surprisingly chill. Obviously we went into Stardew Valley, which I'm loving, so it's been quite relaxed. I've got my first front page slot tomorrow at 1 p.m. UK time, if anyone wants to drop by and say hi. And of course this panel, like our Pride parades are at the end of the month, so we'll see what happens then.
That's awesome. I've had a great Pride too. I mean, I feel like June has flown by. I literally just looked at the calendar and I was like, oh, it's the 18th. We're well into Pride. But yeah, it's been amazing. This has been an incredible month. I had the opportunity to work with the Xbox team, which was amazing. I did a stream takeover with Xbox for Pride this year. I played Life is Strange True Colors, which was an incredible game. I was holding out for it because I knew that I wanted to play that game, and then Xbox wanted to work with me and they were like, you can play whatever you want. I was like, perfect, I'll play this game. So that was a great game. If you have not played it, highly recommend it. And then I just had my first front page last night, which was an amazing experience. I was just really grateful for the opportunity. And then I'll be also rotating on the front page from the 26th to the 30th, and 30th is my birthday. So it's been a good month so far.
Yay.
Yeah.
That's really awesome. I mean, obviously, we kept mentioning front pages, so just a really quick shout out. Obviously, the wonderful thing about all our rising stars this year from the Gaming Awards is they won a fantastic prize package, which included a front page placement from Twitch. Also, a really quick shout out, of course, to Sure. Let me do the little. There we go. Sure, lovely. Who part of the prize package was microphones and headphones and everything else. So thank you, Sure, for donating those prizes, and of course all the other donate as well. Outlockers, Noble Chairs, Streamplify, and Cooler Master. I think all of them is about name checked right correctly there. So go on. I'm curious now. Let's sort of dig into kind of like being a kind of rising star. So what was the inspiration? What sort of really made you jump into streaming?
Well, I can go first. So I discovered Twitch, I discovered it through drag artists. I had found Trixie Mattel actually was streaming through Twitch, and I had no idea what it was. And I was like, what's this? And I love drag, and I tuned in. And so I just watched Trixie play The Sims on Tuesdays. And then I found through there like the Stream Queens and all of these artists that I just admired and looked up to. So I was just a member of several communities for several months before I started streaming. Never before then had I ever even thought about creating content online in like any serious capacity. It's not something that I ever imagined that I could do or like would enjoy doing. And I honestly, like looking back on it, I'm shocked that I even made the decision to do it. Like, I feel like I made the decision to be a streamer in like a week. It went from like, I like Twitch to what if I just streamed and like invested in a PC and like just kind of set it up and had no really significant knowledge of streaming software or like what to do. And so when I went live for the first time, it was me and like 3 people there, like 3 of my friends that I had met through Twitch, just kind of playing out, like hanging out, playing Dead by Daylight and then Alien Isolation. But really what inspired me at the end of the day was the community. Like, I am just so enamored by the community that you can find on this platform. I don't think a lot of people associate Twitch with being a necessarily like, I think that a lot of people assume it's like a very like heteronormative dominated space, like a very like, you know, you think of like the white dude playing Fortnite or whatever. So, but for me, like I have found such an inclusive supportive queer community on this platform, and it allowed me to feel really safe just doing whatever I want to do. And I'm grateful that I did, because creating content here has been like my proudest accomplishment, I think, of my entire life. I love it so very much.
Luke, you mentioned about jumping in right at the start of the pandemic, or halfway. No, you said right at the start of the pandemic. So what was that? Was that a case of just saying to do it out of survival mode, or was that?
So I used to be an assistant manager on a game shop, so I knew of Twitch, and I used to have these kids coming in doing the Fortnite dances. I knew Twitch existed, but I'd never been on it myself. And one of my mates started streaming, and I watched them, and I was like, "Oh, this actually looks quite fun." So I just jumped in, knowing nothing about what I was doing, and I just did like my basic webcam, whatever. And I honestly went into it fully expecting it to be what Holly said, like just your basic white guys playing Fortnite, kind of dull. And then I found Rainbow Arcade, and no, that's a lie. I found Urban Bohemian, my very first queer content creator I found on Twitch. And from Urb, I found Rainbow Arcade, and I found that actually there's lots of queer people that play video games. And I was like, excuse, how cool is that? I was always like the only gay in my shop, like playing video games. Like I knew no one else, and I found Twitch, and there's like a whole group of people here just like me who are into the same stuff I am. And that was like a kind of huge eye opener from me. And at that point, I was like, yeah, I kind of want to get into this. I want to do good at this. And as like Holly said, I think this is something that I'm also really proud of. I think it's probably my proudest achievement also.
It's Cypher's fault.
Of course it is.
So my sister got me watching Critical Role, and I'm like, there's a D&D show? What? So she gets me watching that, and then I met Critical Bard through Twitter, and then he was doing a bunch of stuff the summer of 2020 and introduced me to Cypher. And then one day I'm hanging out in Cypher's stream. We're just chilling, and she drops me off in somebody's chat who's crafting on Twitch. And I said, excuse me, there's queer people who craft on a platform that I thought was a bunch of white dude bros playing COD? Excuse me? My partner comes home and I'm screaming at him. He goes, there is literally nothing else in this world that would be a more perfect job for you. I'm buying you cameras. And I was streaming a month later. And it's now probably the most rewarding job I've ever had. I love doing this. But it's 100% Cypher's fault, because she was like, no, yeah, there's a lot of queer people who do stuff on Twitch. Here are all these wonderful people to hang out with. And I was streaming a month later.
The crafting thing's really interesting, because I think you're right. People always see Twitch as this gaming platform and just people playing video games. But I think the amount of interesting things are actually starting to happen on the platform now, and have been happening for the last year or so. Like there's various people I can lay my finger on that are kind of like writers or crafters or just people that talk and kind of do just talking stuff as well. It really is kind of breaking its programming now about kind of like being just a gaming platform. And I find that really interesting.
Even when it is folks gaming, because I have a lot of people that I know in real life that just don't understand what this platform is, but they associate it with a gaming platform. But when they think of it, they think of someone just staring at a screen playing a video game, and then people watching that person play the video game. And it's like, it's so much more than that. I mean, granted, I'm sure there are streamers that aren't very engaging with their chat, but I mean, it really is so community driven. And I try to describe it like, it's like YouTube, but you get to engage with the creator in real time. Like it's YouTube live. And I know that like that also is a thing, but I think that helps them frame it. Like it's getting to make a connection with the broadcaster. And for that, I think is a huge draw. Like I was talking about this last night on Front Page that I like to game. I like it. It's fun for me. But I don't like it nearly as much as I like to game while I'm streaming, because for me, the enjoyment comes from getting to experience a game with other people. And like, in what other scenario would you get to experience a game with 10,000 people? Like watching on Front Page, exactly. Like in what scenario? You know what I mean? It's so wild to think about, but it's getting to like react with your community, and we're all kind of on the same journey together is why I think it's really special. And I'm as much as I am a creator of content, I am a consumer of content. Like I also just love Twitch. Like I love watching streamers as well. So I think that helps kind of fuel the passion overall.
Totally.
I'm sorry for the puppy screaming in the background. I'm trying to get Papa to come get her.
Chanel, what was your sort of journey into starting?
Yeah. So for me, like I kind of heard of Twitch. I didn't really know much about it. I had one friend who did like a charity stream on it every year for Sick Kids Hospital here in Ontario, and I was like, oh, it's just like a way of you like playing video games, I guess, online. But then during pandemic, I started watching, you know, a couple of my friends who streamed. I'm like, that's kind of fun. Like, I feel like if I need a reason to finish my games. So I feel like if I stream, I can finally finish my games because people will hold me accountable for doing it. So I'm just going to go ahead. So I did it with like, I just bought like a gaming laptop. I bought like a cheap camera and a cheap mic, and I just kind of went live one day. And kind of did it ever since. And at the beginning, I thought maybe I'd just keep it to, you know, games and stuff, but it kind of evolved. I started doing coding streams and stuff like that. You know, when I did my first front page experience last year, I met a lot of people who were like, "Oh, I'm really interested in coding. Can you tell me about coding? Oh, I'm also a woman of color who codes or is getting. It's nice to see another person." So then I'd have like these really deep conversations about code. So I was like, okay, now, you know, this is actually like a platform. Like this is actually a community I can use to try to like push more women of color or POC like women, you know, into the industry. So I talk about my experience a lot. I code now a lot more on stream once a week. I do a coding stream and we just talk about it, and people can ask me questions or anything like that about it. But mostly gaming, but I like doing the coding part too, because you get to talk to really cool people who are just like trying to get into the field, because that's my full-time job. My full-time job is I'm a web developer, so that's what I do on the full-time. But it's a really good way to reach people from all kind of walks of life, and they can hear like, I'm someone who switched careers and I became a web developer after I didn't really like my first one. So they're like, okay, maybe I can do that too. So it's been just like this like unintentional platform for me to like have a voice in that space. So it's been really awesome.
I mean, as you say, that's really important. Obviously, with trying to increase participation in STEM and everything else from
Right.
and particularly with coding, I think that's a fantastic sort of way of platforming not only yourself but also then platforming the community in terms of we can all do STEM, we can all do coding. This is
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
that's really cool. What lessons have you all learned from your time streaming, particularly about yourselves? Like, have you discovered anything about yourself on stream? I'm not after major confessions at this point, but I'm just sort of like
I'll dive in.
Someone
this
jump
in. I am much more smarter. Horrible grammar, wonderful start. I am much smarter and much more capable than I give myself credit
do
for.
good words.
Yes.
I do good words.
You did it, Luke. Somewhere Rita is
I'm also
screaming.
funny.
It's a her
I'm
book.
also funny on occasion. No, like I know about this whole brand on being like a damn board, being a big idiot, but streaming's hard, y'all. Like I don't think people realize that it takes like a surprising amount of work, and it's just kind of helped me kind of focus in on what I know I'm good at and just really enhance that a lot. So I'd say that's what I've learned from streaming, is that I'm a lot more capable than I give myself credit for.
I feel that. I've just to bounce off of what Luke is saying, it's really hard, and it's not even just like you know, your setup and your tech, like the technology and all that stuff. Sometimes it takes a mental toll because it's you know, if you're having a bad day and then you stream, like you just like have that mentality there. You get like a, you know, a hate rate or something bad that just like totally kills the whole vibe. So you just have to like, you know, keep your smile on or figure something out. So, you know, it can take a toll and stuff. So yeah, streaming is hard, but yeah, I totally feel that.
Yeah.
I totally feel that. But the thing I think I've learned about myself is that I've learned to like I take things like really personally, but at the same time, you know, it's nice, you know, to have certain community people or friends who are there to kind of like cheer you up and things like that. To have, instead of like kind of doing it on your own, I've always been someone who's like just internalized things or done things on my own. But I've felt with having like a community a stream community, it's easier to kind of reach out and be like, have you dealt with this? Or like, how do you like, what should I do? Let's play some games off stream. Let's figure something out just to make me feel better. And then the other thing is I'm way more outgoing on stream, I would say, than I am in person for the most part. But I feel like the stream, like the way I am outgoing on stream is slowly starting to actually translate into real life. So it's like, you know, seeing like people reacting to like certain things that I do that I would hide because I thought it was silly or dumb or whatever is actually like people find it endearing or like funny or whatever. So I'm starting to do it a little bit more like in my personal life. So, you know, that's nice that I picked that up from there. So a bit more outgoing, less introverted, I would say.
I totally relate to that. I was going to talk about that too. Like I am much more introverted in person than I am online. And that's why, like I said it earlier, but I am to this day, like still so surprised that I decided to start streaming because I'm actually very camera shy. Like I don't take a lot of like photos of myself. Like in real life, like I am very much like the person to not be, I don't want to be like the center of attention in that way. So the fact that I can like comfortably and confidently sit here in front of a camera to X amount of people is wild to me. And I think one of the lessons that I've learned is like, I kind of like reflect on my content that I am creating and have created over the past year and a half. And I kind of surprise myself like how I'm able to engage with people through a screen. It's been something that I never thought that I would enjoy doing or be comfortable doing. And it's been, it's just been really nice. It's like an aspect of my personality that I feel like I unlocked. You know what I mean? I like opened up this part of me. But yeah, just to reiterate, I mean, one of the like, I guess, technical lessons, like the streamer lesson is like, I went into this with like, yeah, I did have a PC that was intended for gaming. And like, I had a, $40 webcam at the time and like a $30 mic. I had none of this existed. It's blurred right now, but none of this lighting existed. Like all of it was built over time. So like one of the lessons is like your stream will constantly be evolving and adapting. Like going into it, I think that it's totally normal to just start with like the very basics and like work your way up. Because I think it can be, knowing now what I know about streaming, I probably would have been really intimidated to start. Because like seeing people set up and everything, like it is a lot. With OBS, it can be a lot, like learning all the plugins and all of that. So I don't know. I guess I gave myself grace like building that up.
I don't know. For me, I kind of went in knowing how difficult it was because I was starting to make more and more streamer friends. So I knew it was going to be really hard work. I don't think I was expected for how hard of it is. Because like I tell everyone, I start working when my feet hit the floor in the morning and I stop working about an hour before I go to bed every day. But I think the one thing that really surprised me is that I really like teaching. I do a lot of crafting classes. We call them Panda U on my channel, where we try to get a lot of the hobbies I do. Because a lot of people will come into my chat and be like, I could never. And it's like, yeah, you can. Who told you couldn't? Okay, I'm going to show you how to do it. We're going to do a class on it and we're going to go step by step. And I'm going to tell you the cheapest way to get into whatever hobby this is and the least expensive way you can get started to at least try it. That way you can decide if you can do it or not. And then we break things down step by step and we take 4 or 5 days. So far we've done, I did one on the basics of crochet. I did one on painting miniatures, like D&D miniatures. We did an embroidery one, a cross stitch one, and a blackwork one. So we kind of like, I'll take 4 or 5 days, about a month and a half ahead of everything. I'll tell everyone this is the supply list and this is how you can get it even cheaper locally if you need to get it online. This is where you can get it internationally, that kind of stuff. And we try to make it super accessible just so people can feel like, yeah, I can do that. And I think the most rewarding thing is how many of my community members are like, I started crocheting because of you. I pick my hooks back up after not doing it for years because of you. I paint minis now because of you. I write more now and it's like, I didn't do anything other than sit here and show you how to tie knots with string.
I don't know. I think everyone's an inspiration in some ways. I'm as you can probably tell from the appalling setup and the camera cutting out all the time. I'm not the streamer here amongst all these wonderful people. I'm just the host with a terrible setup on a MacBook. But I genuinely, every time I learn more about content creators, streamers, etc. I'm in awe about the fact that the amount of change that you affect in your community, whether it's a positive change to do with increasing participation in STEM, whether it's a crafting thing, whether it's just making people's mental health sort of a little bit better, or even some charity fundraising and stuff like it. What you all do in your own way is amazing, and everyone, not just people sat in me here, but also every sort of queer streamer out there is doing amazing things for community. So yeah, we love all of you. What challenges have you all faced being a streamer? We've done the wholesome bit, we've done the good vibes, etc. So let's sort of dig a bit into this, into some of the challenges. And I'm aware of a few, but who wants to go first?
Figuring out who you can't trust in the space. That's been my biggest lesson, because I was very quick to trust people that were very quick to stick a knife in my back the minute I saw this much success.
Mm-hmm.
It's learning how to curate your community and being very, very, it's learning to be very, very careful about who you trust, who you allow to stay in your community, and nipping things the minute they get started and not letting stuff go too far. Like, curating community is definitely like the hardest lesson to learn, because you kind of know going in, and then when you really start to see how some people can be, it can get really difficult. I think that's been the hardest lesson I've had to learn.
I would say for me.
Has anyone else? Sorry.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I was just gonna say for. Oh. Yeah. So for me, I was just gonna say like, just how like, I feel like my stream changes a lot, like depending on, new, like what I have going on or what I feel like doing, and having to pivot a lot depending on how I feel. I guess I know a lot of people will kind of figure out their thing and kind of stick with that. But for me, my brain is just constantly changing about like what I'm interested in and what I want to do at the time. And, that may stifle growth or whatever, but that's just like how I am, and I can't really stick to one thing. So I just kind of go all over the place with that. The other thing is I take things like super personally. So anytime there's like, a troll in my chat, or like something is going wrong with the stream or whatever, you can really see that on my face. Like I'm very affected by it. So trying to like hide that I'm upset or whatever is like super, super hard for me. But like, I'm not saying I get a lot of bad people in my chat or whatever, but like one bad person in the chat is just like enough to like ruin my whole week. It's like so crazy. So dealing with that, and like, what Panda says, like some people that you think are like really good people sometimes in the community, or like you find out they're really not. So, it's just like picking and choosing the people that you maybe hang out with outside of stream versus like in stream, and just like knowing boundaries, figuring out boundaries for the most part.
Yeah, that I totally relate to that. I think the biggest challenge that I have learned over time is to trust my own instincts and gut into how I want to produce content. Because if anybody here is on quote unquote streamer Twitter, you'll probably see that's a whole nother panel. Yeah. You'll probably see a lot of opinions on what works and what doesn't work, and what to do and what not to do in streaming. And you see it a lot like on TikTok too, of people just having opinions on this is how you to stream, or this is what I did. And it's a lot of pressure onto making really important critical decisions on how to produce content, or like even like the moderation settings that you have your chat set to. And I think the takeaway is like everyone's stream is different. What works for someone might not work for someone else, because a lot of streaming is, I think, about soft skills. It's about like how you engage with people, and not so much about like the technical side of it. So like some decisions I've made, like I used to be a daytime streamer. I used to stream Saturday, Sunday at like 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. And then one day I was like, I'm changing my entire schedule around, and now I'm a nighttime streamer. And there are people that think that that is not the right thing to do. Like, stick to your schedule, you'll grow over time. Like, I just trusted myself in knowing like this is what's going to work for me. I changed my schedule probably 4 or 5 times in the year and a half that I've been streaming. I've taken breaks. I took a 2-week break about 3 months ago. I took like another break before that. Like, I've changed the types of games that I'm playing. Like, being a variety streamer, I think that there's a lot of heated opinions on like, you know, this won't work because you're switching your games all the time. But it's whatever. I think that people want to watch whatever the streamer is engaging with. Like, people will watch me play Disneyland Adventures because I think it's fun and silly and I like it. You know what I mean? So
It's such a fun little game.
it's so fun. It's so fun. I love Disneyland Adventures. All that to say, I think the biggest lesson is like, just trust yourself. Like, I've trusted myself in making changes to my content that I thought were going to work. And maybe some of them didn't, but at the end of the day, most of them did, because I knew that that was going to resonate with myself and my community. So kind of stayed in my own lane and drowned out the noise.
Yeah. Trust yourself and do the stream that you want to do, because at the end of the day, it won't last if you go with all of what streamer Twitter says all the time.
You really have to enjoy exactly
you
what
gotta
you're
enjoy
doing.
what you're doing.
What you're doing.
Yeah.
I don't really know what my biggest challenge is. You've kind of give really good answers, and I just kind of agreed with all of them. I think probably the biggest challenge for me initially was being myself. Whenever, like, I always saw, I don't know, maybe I just wanted to be something a bit more than who I am. Like, I was maybe a bit too energetic, and then I realized real quick that, like, this is a horrible analogy, but it's kind of like retail, right? So see, when you get a customer in front of you and you've got your customer face on, you can be streaming for like 4 to 8 hours and essentially have to realize that you've kind of still got that customer face on. You've still kind of got that whatever. So give yourself the breaks. Like, I used to never take breaks. Just now, because I was always terrified that people go bored, people leave. And I'm like, no, if you are yourself, if you're having fun, if you need the break, go take it. Like, you need to hydrate. Like, your chat treat you like a little Tamagotchi, like stretch your streamer, like hydrate your streamer, whatever. Like, but no, I think that's the biggest chance I've had, is like being easier on yourself. Like, the numbers will come and go. Like, your content might change, but just go easy on yourself, because at the end of the day, like, you're selling fun. Like, you're supposed to be having fun, and if you're having fun, then people watching you're having fun.
What adventures have you had with the platform? I mean, I know that's probably about as long as a piece of string, and we've probably been through this conversation multiple times, but it is important to kind of highlight some of the challenges that exist with Twitch at the moment.
Discoverability for anyone who's not a cishet white dude playing COD or Fortnite or whatever, or Elden Ring, or whatever the big game of the moment is. Discoverability for anybody doing anything that's different than everyone else.
Do you think the tags have fixed that or contributed to that, or?
Not really, because they removed hosting as being another way for discoverability. If someone doesn't physically host you, auto hosts and stuff don't count anymore, and they broke it, like, deliberately. And it's stuff like that. The tags help to a point, but they don't treat every category on the platform equally. Like, they're still going to put the big games on the front page, even though just chatting is the most popular category on the entire service.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, discoverability is kind of not the best, even during like Pride Month. If I go to my front page right now and I look at the carousel, I don't think there's a single queer person on there for me at all.
So I saw that earlier on as well.
Yeah,
like, I looked at my carousel.
Yeah, and like, even when they have like like Pride or Black History Month or anything like that, like, the carousel for that or the slot is so far down the page. Sometimes I can't even see it depending on what screen I'm on, because it's got probably breakpoints or whatever. So I can't see it even at all sometimes. And it's just things like that. The discoverability isn't so good. I remember I did do one campaign for Black History Month last year, and I can tell you it was top notch. Like, they picked maybe like 30, 40 streamers, and they really took time to like, you know, promote them, put them on the front page. Like every single day I could find a Black streamer somewhere on the front page. Like every single spot was that. And it was like, this is great. Like this is, you know, I know it's a few people, but at least those people are getting like really good exposure. They're going on the shows, they're doing all the things. But then they were like, let's just put like a bunch of people, and then like some of them don't even get picked up at all, but they're part of the promotion, and then none of them are in the carousel, and if they are, it's the same like 5 people or something like that. So it's, you know, they need to work on that, just like kind of spreading it out, doing it more instead of just the month that it's in, because obviously for like queer communities or like, you know, POC or anything like that, those are the people who need help. It's not the white streamers who you're just using because they have more views, and or not just white, but like white male, like that's the general platform, the ones that are at the top. You know, I know they're making you the most money, but at the end of the day, like, you know, probably more of the people consuming the content are like all over the place, or more diverse than that. So yeah, I definitely agree with Panda there.
Like on top of that, like what you were saying about the carousel, like there's myself and there's a bunch of other queer content creators that are on front page this weekend to celebrate Pride. But I was looking at the carousel earlier on, like I was looking for new content creators, and I was like, this is the same 6 people who are always on front page.
Yeah.
Like this is frustrating. Like you can't just like march out your gays to be like, oh, we're doing something, then hide them away when you don't need them anymore. It was really, really disappointing, to be quite honest. I think my biggest concern, what could be done to support more people are just what to help. So Twitch has got this really fun thing with usernames that seem to, it doesn't matter what the username is, it always goes through. So you can have some really vile, disgusting usernames from the hate rage that queer content creators get, and you're just gonna have to deal with it. Like, see if you've got a bot that can filter out these names. Why can't you do it with usernames?
Yeah,
that seems like a really I'm not a web developer, unlike other members of the panel. But that's like a fairly straightforward thing they should be able to be doing.
Well, it should be an approval process, like just like, you know, the place I work now, we have like a comment section, and they have hate comments and whatever, and a username has to be approved before you can even post a single thing for that exact reason. So it's like, you know, I'm sure it would take time, but you should have more of a moderation team when you have a giant platform like this. You know what I mean? And then the other thing is, like, even with the marginalized thing, if you're not you know, the discoverability is low, but at the same time you're also taking 50% of the people's profits, which is just like another slap in the face. So if you're taking 50%, I would like you to put a bit more effort into protecting us. You know,
that's another thing. Like,
put 50% more effort in.
Yeah. Like,
100%.
larger people have to, like, we get hate raids, we get all the other crap that gets thrown at us all the time. You're bigger, like, standard content creators don't get that. Like, we have to put in so much more effort than everyone else. Like, just give us a bit of support. Like, I don't think we're asking a great deal.
Yeah, something like that's very current that I think that Twitch could improve on is being a bit more transparent, like specifically with things that are rolled out. For example, like the ads program that was just rolled out. Hashtag streamer Twitter. I have seen so many people post their I've seen so many people post their ads like offers. So there's, for those of you who don't know, if you're not on Twitter, Twitch has a new program that they're rolling out for ads and offers that streamers are getting for how much revenue that they can earn for how much, you know, how many hours that they're streaming, and there's different tiers, and ads are a whole nother conversation. But at the end of the day, all the offers range so widely. And it was really surprising for me. Like, I mean, outside of work, like I've got a day job too. And I was looking at these numbers that are rolling out, and I'm like, how did they make the decision to roll this out, knowing that like people are probably going to talk about this and like post their offers, and they vary drastically. I mean, I've seen Twitch partners that have double the viewership of mine that were offered like $15 for an ads deal, run like, you know, for streaming 115 hours a month. But then I've seen other people who might not be a Twitch partner, might have, you know, X viewership, that are being offered a few $100s. It's so drastic. So I think a bit more transparency with decisions like that are rolled out would just be helpful to kind of understand what metrics matter to Twitch for certain decisions that can affect revenue, because that's really important. And then just to kind of tag on what Chanel was saying on discoverability, I would love to see creators celebrated. Like, I'm grateful to be a part of the Pride campaign this year. It's the first time I've been invited to a campaign, so I'm like super excited about the opportunity. But I would love to see folks celebrated outside of like their month. You know what I mean? Like, outside of Black History Month, I would love to see the carousel with a lot of Black creators. I would love to see women featured all the time. I would love to see creators who fall under the LGBTQIA plus umbrella all the time on the carousel. I don't think that there needs to necessarily be like a time of the year to celebrate those folks. Because outside of like the months, yeah, the carousel can feel a little bit redundant as far as what types of creators are being featured. And, you know, who gets the most amount of coverage on that type of thing. So just uplifting people year round, I think would be really nice.
I saw someone post their one of their offers on hashtag streamer today or yesterday, and it was $1
Wow.
for like 100 odd hours of streaming. $1. Like, it's not even worth the time to do that. Like, the process of even getting that dollar would probably cost them more than $1. And it's just for me, it's just, I don't know, making that sort of thing public knowledge and very shareable does seem like a bit of a silly step.
Yeah, it's all
Yeah,
about
huge
needing to
oversight.
make things equitable across the board. And again, like Holly said, the transparency is so important.
Yeah, because if it's about, you know, it just would have been nice for them to share, like, these are the factors that are going into your offer, you know, or at least access to someone who they could work with to gain a little bit more insight. Because even as a Twitch partner, it's not very easy to get in contact with like a real life person without getting a pretty automated response. So, you know, whether it's viewership or reach or the, you know, sum of the average hours that you've streamed over the past 3 months, like whatever the factors were, would have been good to know. Because yeah, from $1 to I've seen up to like 1,500. It's just like so varied, which is strange for something that really does have a huge impact on creators. Because ads, you know, while important to the platform, I understand it's like a huge factor of like monetization for Twitch, do make a big impact. I mean, the more viewership that you have, the higher likelihood that you're going to have more people who aren't subscribed. And a 7-run ad, you know, and a run of 7 ads an hour, you could lose folks pretty quickly in big numbers. So it is like a pretty important decision for people to make.
Yeah, also with the ads, it would be nice, especially because it's all going out to the partners right now and it's going to be for affiliates later. Don't make us have to schedule them. Let us do it ourselves. Let us be able to sit there and not interrupt our content and be like, I'm going to take a 3-minute break real quick to run these ads. I'll be right back. And then nobody's missing anything and you don't have anybody go, oh, well, I'm getting ads in the middle of content. I'm gone. I think that would be a huge help.
So it's not your choice. It's not your choice when you press the button to play the ad. It's they factor it in and just schedule it in, I should say.
It auto runs it. Yeah, it's on a schedule. So you can pick your schedule. So you can pick like, you know, I'm not going to start ads until 30 minutes into stream is when I'm going to run the first one. And then from there, every 60 minutes, I'm running a 2-minute ad or something like that. And I was actually talking to my mods about this because we were talking about the ad schedule and they were like, do you know when an ad plays? And I was like, here's the thing, kind of, but it takes a lot of attention to look at it because you can see on your creator dashboard, it'll give you a notification on there, but I'm not always looking at creator dashboard. I've got OBS, I've got a game playing. Like there's not like a lot of, I mean, I'm sure there's a bot that I could probably work with. I should hit up Mama Tomago. I'm sure there's a bot that I could work with to like give me an audio notification of like, you've got an ad in a minute, but it's not very integrated. It's not seamless. So like you can snooze them, you know, you can choose to snooze them, but you do have to be actively paying attention to when they're going to roll.
Mm. They should have something that comes up on the screen, like ad playing and just a countdown to ads or something. Luke, do you remember back in the UK? I don't know what it's like in American TV. If I remember rightly, there's just an ad just pops up and surprises you. There isn't even like a thing. But in the UK, we used to have a little box up here that used to scroll, sort of like black and white little lines that used to sort of like run around for a little bit with about 10-20 seconds to go before adverts. And something like that, just to give people a clue that an ad's coming and you can kind of go and get your drink refreshed or something. seems the most sensible option.
I can see it right now. I always have my creator dashboard open. That's just typically where I read my chat. I have not once seen it come up saying, by the way, there's an ad running. That's
You might have
very
to,
interesting
that
me.
might be a setting to enable.
Maybe.
Like if you,
Yeah.
we can chat offline, but I do think there is a setting that you have to manually opt into it. Like all that to say, it's not very clear, right? Like it's,
No.
none of it's very intuitive. It's a
No.
lot of like, you have to really dig in and like search in your settings to see what
Where
you
everything
need
is.
to, yeah. And then even from there, like I do have it up and it's really not easy to see it. Cause for me, like I've got, you know, a dual monitor setup. So on this screen is my game, on this screen is my chat, my OBS, my streamer dashboard. So everything's minimized. So there could be an improvement to the functionality of it. I think would be helpful.
So coming off the back of all of this, and we've sort of started touching on a little bit of it, but what more could be done to support LGBTQ and all marginalized streamers?
Stop regulating us to 1 month, just like everyone said.
Joe, when you ban someone on Instagram, you can ban their IP address. I want that. And also, if I do ban someone, I don't want them to be able to look at my content. I want that. I do not want them there at all. They should not be able to watch me if they are banned.
Completely
Like
blocked.
I get it. This one person will
Absolutely.
give you ad revenue, whatever, and it'll get them to away. Like, I don't want that.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
Yeah,
exposure definitely, or like discoverability. You can't tell me you can't do more with that carousel at the top of the page. Like, and if you can't do it, you need to be more transparent on why. Is it because these are just like more revenue? Like, people make more revenue for you? Is that what it is? It seems like it's just a mix to me. You throw some people up there who are different, like people that we don't normally see. Like, why does it have to just be a partner person? Throw up an affiliate up there once in a while. Like just mix it up. So we can discover new people. For the most part. So discoverability, I know they added a lot of safety stuff, but there's still a lot of work to be done. There's still hate raids happening. So obviously there's definitely the fact that we have to go to an outside bot to block a hate raid. Like if someone wrote it from the outside, you can write it from the inside. Like you can definitely take the time to write that and
Or
figure
you
out
can
how to
hire
do
those
that.
people and have them do it for you. 'Cause
Definitely,
they made them stuff. Pay them for the stuff that they built.
You should literally just I don't know if they do have a team like that, but they should literally just have a moderation and safety team that's like straight up just to protect us, things like that, because we get the brunt, like queer people like get the brunt of it for the most part. So protect us.
There's always like a weight
Absolutely.
on like minority streamers as well, because it'll always be people like us who are at the forefront of these type of things that Twitch needs, but like everyone else will benefit from it. You know what I mean? It kind of feels like a bit unjust, a little, considering like the amount of pushing that needs done to get anywhere with Twitch is not a small amount. It's like consistent for months and months and months before they listen to you. And then when it does come around to it, like, oh, we came up with this really cool idea that these people have been shouting at us for a while, but we're not going to mention that. We just did it all by ourselves. And I'm like, no, you didn't. Like, come on.
Or like, this is this really cool thing that everyone's asking for. We're going to give you something totally different. Also, can we please ban all hate-filled emotes and stuff on the... Can we please get rid of Pepe the Frog? Can it just burn? Can we please ban every term that brings that into anyone's chat and gets rid of it? Can we take all the derivative emotes and ban them on the platform? Like, can we please get rid of all of the hate symbols that they just allow because some people think it's fine? Why do streamers have to put their own banned words list in? Why do we have to go type all that stuff out? Why can't you block it from being on the platform altogether?
I think what Luke said and what you've all been saying, but specifically Luke, around kind of it's the it's always LGBTQ people or minority people that are at the front of all of this, and that we're the ones that A, get the profile, but then B, have to then put up with everything. And I think that's the issue, isn't it? It's kind of a double whammy of they want to feature us during our special 1 month a year, and then, but at the same time, we're just going to throw you to the wolves with no protections.
Exactly.
That is disappointing. Considering like all of us clearly love the platform, all of us clearly enjoy what we do. It's just disappointing not get that support back. You know.
Has there been any positive changes to Twitch over the past sort of year or two? Is there anything that's kind of like that they have taken steps, they have, and that's a good thing. Like I'm trying not to be kind of too much on the kind of beating everyone with a stick kind of point of view at the moment.
I would absolutely say yeah. I know maybe some people disagree, but I really love the tags. I feel, to me personally, the tags have done wonders. I remember when they were first implemented, people would come in and be like, oh, I found you with X tag, I found you with this tag. And I was like, oh my God, so nice. And I know that with that implementation, so many other queer people have found each other. Like, see, when I first started, for example, you didn't have those tags. So I had to find Brave Arcade and Urban Bohemian through recommendations, through Twitter and things like that. Now I don't need to do that. Now you have them. You can just, I want to find other queer content creators. I use the queer tag. I use the LGBTQIA+ tag. I use whatever. Like, yeah, I feel like there has been some positive change in that regard. And that with like COVID, a lot more people are on Twitch, a lot more queer people, a lot more minority people. And the community has definitely grown within that space of time. And to me personally, that's really lovely to see that there are people who feel safe here and that enjoy our content and want to spend more time with us and make more friends.
Yeah, I agree. Tags have been huge because before tags were rolling out, I think a lot of the conversation was centered around adding the trans tag, which was hugely important. And there was a lot of backlash, rightfully so, from the community because it was not addressed head on. And there was a lot of stalling, I think, and postponing from Twitch. Ultimately, I understand a little bit about why they were doing that because they wanted to implement a larger, more encompassing tag system. I think there could have been a little bit more transparent about that decision so that folks would understand. But ultimately, I do like that there is a really largely encompassing tag system. Like the trans tag, hugely important. So are a lot of the other tags that make it easier for us to connect with folks. Even like the ADHD tag. I've had people come find me that are like, I have ADHD too. And it's just like, cool. Like you can watch me derail live on stream. Like it's nice to be able to connect with people that you have things in
That is such a mood
with.
though.
I literally like get on stream and I'm like, one of my moderators, LaCoy, can immediately tell if I've medicated that day. They'll come in and they'll be like, you are unmedicated. I'm like, yeah, unfortunately, I super am today. But it is nice to be able to find people that you have things in common with. Even more than that, like identity tags, like that's hugely important. So I think that is a important change that they made. And then on the more technical side, the not automod, but chat verification settings have been really a huge improvement. To me, that was a big change to the ability to moderate and restrict hateful messaging. Because at the time, I mean, hate reads are definitely still a problem, but at the time, a lot of those bots were made like within the hour and sent into chats. So now with, chat verification settings, I have restricted my chat. So like, if you're going to come in, you have to have a verified email and a verified phone number. And if you don't have that, your account needs to be longer. It needs to be made more than 4 weeks ago and needed to be following me for 10 minutes. Like there are certain things that you can change it to help decrease the possibility of getting hateful messaging, which is very important. So there's a lot of work that still needs to be done, but I think there have been steps along the way to help aid, kind of put some Band-Aid fixes on until greater solutions are made.
Oh yeah, no, the chat verification thing was amazing. Like just being able to turn it on. You have to have your phone and email verified. Sorry, don't like it, don't come to my chat. Like it keeps my entire it's not just about keeping us safe, right? It's our entire communities and all the queer people and all the Black people and all the people of color and everybody who's marginalized that comes to hang out in our communities are also kept safe from seeing all of that stuff because you can't talk in my chat unless you're verified. And if you do say something, then I can report you to Twitch. And I love the tags. Please give us 5 more. Don't make us have to pick between identity tags and content tags. The tags are great. I just wish we'd had just a couple more, because there are those of us like, I'm neurodivergent, I'm disabled, I'm fat, I'm queer. Like, I'd like to be able to put all of that on and put that I'm crocheting, for a TTRPG.
Oh, actually, on top of that,
It's interesting when you have to kind of start pigeonholing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because I found this out recently. So everyone who's in like a specific Pride category in the UK, they've got the Pride 2022 tag, and I initially already had my 5 on. I was going to change one as a joke to furry because the Stardew Valley thing. It's a joke in my mind, right? Ever. And when I took out one of my tags, I still had the Pride 2020, so I was going to put another one on. It's like, oh wait, you've got 5 tags though, and I'm like, wait a minute, I made a mistake. No, can I put the tag back on then? It's like, no, because this tag's taking up this space. I'm like, well, you know. So yeah, I think maybe 1 or 2 more slots would help quite a bit.
One more thing on the tag, something I think would be a really simple change. I mean, I don't code, so maybe Chanel can correct me. But something that I think would be simple, and this is something that like a lot of other platforms use, even like LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, take pronouns out of tags and let them be just separate, like below the name, above the name, something a little bit more clear and out of tags. Because it's strange that they're just in tags. Like, that's a strange way to, I don't see a lot of folks that are like looking for tags of people who use she, her. You know what I mean? It's just like a strange place to put them because it's not really about our content. It's just who we are. So I think having that listed somewhere else, like on our profile, would be helpful.
Sorry, Holly. Well, I mean, like there's the Alejo, right? Where it's the plugin for chat, where people can go.
That should just be a thing.
That should just be a thing.
That should just be a
plugin.
We shouldn't need a plugin for that. It should just be a thing. If somebody wrote the code that can make it happen, Twitch can buy that code and just install it.
Yeah.
I don't know why that is 100% a thing they could integrate into the regular code. I'm not sure why they just don't do that. But someone coming from tech, I understand that there's probably things they have on their timeline, so they can't just stuff things in there. But maybe you need another team then, so you can do it. I don't know, but yeah, the tags have been really great. I've gotten a lot of people coming in through that, and the verification. Like, some people are like, I can't chat. I'm like, that's verify your phone number. Like, I can't help you. I can't trust other people. Yeah.
Okay, so just balling all of this up then. If you're meeting with an LGBTQ streamer, an LGBTQIA plus person who wants to get into streaming, what would be your kind of bullet point advice for them to sort of jump in and do it?
Just do it.
Yeah, I was gonna say just go live.
Honestly, like if you want to try it, throw yourself into it. Like, you don't need a camera. You'd like a typical setup as camera, whatever. Like, you don't really though. Like, jump in a game that you enjoy, chat away, have fun with it. However, if you don't want to do the one piece of advice that I think I will stand to, like regardless, diversify your content. Like we said before, Twitch's recommendation system to find other streamers needs some improvement. So use TikTok, use social media, use Twitter, use Instagram, like use everything to try and, as a catchment, to drag people back to Twitch is probably the best advice I could possibly give.
My advice, I don't even know if the question was my advice, but I'm going to answer it as my advice anyway for somebody who wants to start streaming. If you're a streamer. My advice is be mindful of your energy, and that sounds maybe like a little aligned with the stars, but like, protect your energy. Like, I think that's really important. I would focus on like engaging with people who give you the type of energy where you feel your best, when you feel confident and you feel supported and you feel like whatever you're playing is motivating to you and is making you feel good. Do that, because sometimes we'll find that with one game, and that's great. And if that game isn't giving you that type of energy, then pick something else. That's my biggest advice. Yeah. So I see a lot of people, like I talked about it on earlier, but see a lot of people feeling pressure to play one specific type of game because they see a lot of viewership on it, because they look at the game category and they see X amount of people are watching that. And they're like, that's the game I should play, because a lot of people are watching that. But my advice is, if that game makes you happy, play it. And if it doesn't, find something else that will. Because I think ultimately people want to watch people having a good time.
Yeah, totally. Just to piggyback off of off of Luke's, yeah, just go live. Like, I've had a lot of people who are like, come up to me and they're like, I don't know if I want to start, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, just go live. Like, what's the worst that could happen? There's probably one person watching you when you go the first time, depending on, unless you talk to people who watch it and whatever else. But, and then to piggyback off of something that Holly said earlier, which was that your stream will just build up as you continue streaming, right? So don't worry. I almost didn't go live because I was like very particular about how I wanted my setup to be and all that kind of stuff, not realizing that it would evolve over time. So just know that it is going to evolve over time. Like, your first stream might be awful, like the sound might be bad, like the video might be bad or whatever, but that's just like, you have time to learn. You can talk to other people in the community. There is some weird things in streamer Twitter, there is some actual useful things in streamer Twitter when it comes to setups and like good quality cameras and like bots you can use and things like that. So those are the things that I absorb and I take in, and I increase my stream quality in that way. But your first stream is not going to be your best stream, so just do it. Just go live. It's going to evolve over time, and you'll figure out your tools and whatever to keep yourself safe. So, and at the same time, like you won't know if you like it unless you try it. So it's always good to just try something once. And if it's not for you, it's not for you. Maybe you move on to some other way of content creating, YouTube or just TikTok or whatever else. So it's like you got to find your niche, but you got to try it first.
So I'm going to go for what you should be doing the minute you hit that go live button is, yes, absolutely, just do it. Make sure you have 1 or 2 very good mods. Make sure you have very firm rules about what you want and they understand it and they're going to stand by it. And then curate the heck out of your community from the first time you hit go live. Don't allow people in your space just because you want numbers, because then you're going to have people that leave your space because you just want numbers. Curate that community of people that want to be at your back and have your back and are going to keep coming back, and that community will continue to grow. Don't expect to be a celebrity overnight, because you're probably never going to be. And figure out why you really want to stream. Do you want to do it because you want to have fun and you think it looks fun? Do that. You want to do it for making money? That's a whole other thing. So, curate your space, have good mods, have firm boundaries and stick to those boundaries, and don't let people stomp on them just because you want numbers.
That's all amazingly good advice, and I think the chat's just agreeing with us as well about how really positive and great advice. We're coming up to the Q&A part, so we've got one more question that I'm going to surprise everyone with. We've got more questions, so start thinking about your Q&A, start thinking about what questions you want to ask, and we'll get on to that in just a second. This question is not on the list of questions that I sent out because it's a little surprise, but tell me how you and what your reactions were and how you felt when you were named as Rising Star.
I was so surprised. I found out because I got the marketing email that everybody gets saying from like Twitch saying like, we're partnering with Gaming Mag this year to bring the gaming awards to life. And I clicked on the link and my name was on the article. And I was like, huh? And then at that same, like, as I was still processing this information, I got like a Discord notification from Sammy MJ being like a bunch of like question mark, parenthesis, question mark, like just keyboard smashing. Like, we're both on this article. And I was like, what? So I just couldn't like piece it together. But ultimately, I mean, I am incredible. I am and still continue to be and was all of that together. Very honored and like humbled to receive a nomination for that. It was really gratifying and just rewarding to be recognized in the queer community as a rising star. And even more so, I think, like humbling to know that it was something that was nominated from peers and streamers that I look up to. It's like the folks that nominated me were people that ultimately inspired me to start streaming. So it was just like a kind of full circle moment and just gratifying and reassuring that like doing something right, nice.
I was in utter shock. I had literally gone to take a nap and I woke up to 400 notifications and I said, what have I done? Because like, if you're not somebody who gets a ton of social media engagement and you wake up and your mentions are a mess, it's like, what has happened? And half of them were like, oh my God, that's so cool. Congratulations. And the other half where they used your full name. What happened? And I'm like, I don't know what's going on. And then I went and looked and I cried for like an hour. I'm like, I don't know how on earth that happened, but that's really cool. And it's just been a whirlwind since. It's a super huge honor. It was just, oh my goodness. Like it was, I literally like, I had a migraine. I went to take a nap and the announcement went out while I was sleeping. And when I got up and picked up my phone, I had to run downstairs to my computer because my phone couldn't handle everything.
I think I was in a similar situation. Like I guess fun fact, I just sit in Discord with my mates at night and play video games. And anyway, like we'd finished whatever we were playing. I looked at my phone. I had like a million Twitter notifications. I was like, oh no, it's finally happened. I've been cancelled. And then I opened up Twitter and I was like, what's going on? And then like I finally figured out it's the nomination. I'm like, what? And I said to them, I was like, here, by the way, I've just been nominated as Rising Star Streamer of the Year. And they're like, what? And I don't think it was till the third day, like after I was like, oh, this is actually really cool. Like it just took so long to process it was actually happening and like what it involved. It was such a wild and surreal experience. Thank you, Robin.
Yeah. Mine was really similar. Like the Twitter notification thing. I was like, why are people messaging me all this stuff? Like I was like driving home from somewhere and I'm like, I don't really understand what's going on or what any of this is or what, like, I don't know what's going on. I was like, how did this happen to me? How did I get chosen? I don't understand. Like, and I think ultimately, and it's just like, I think something I always have in my brain as someone who's just like an socially anxious person. I'm like, I'm not sure how I got this and I'm not sure if I really deserve this. And I think this is like so weird. Why am I here? It took me a really long time to actually like say, no, you actually deserve, like my community the whole time was like, Chanel, like stop like you deserve this. There's a reason you're here. Like, you know, you deserve this. Like, so it was really cool. Like, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna like take this in. I'm gonna make sure that I'm like, you know, a good representative and there's a reason I'm here and I'm going to make sure that I use the platform for this. So like overall, I've just had like a really good experience with it. I love the message. I love everything about it. And I love all the other rising stars. Like everyone on who's a rising star is just like amazing people. So it's just been so crazy and great.
Whomst among us had our community yell at us because we were like,
ton.
What?
Yeah. I was like, I don't know if I deserve this at all. And then everyone was like, yes, you do.
That was exactly the same way.
Absolutely.
The next morning I had Cypher and then one of my other mods, Zerjester, in voice with me on stream, both yelling at me like, you do deserve this, shut up.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing.
I can
like
tell you now that you all most definitely deserve this. You are all the class of the Rising Star class of 22. Also, a big shout out, of course, to Lucia and Crunchy, who couldn't be here to join us on this panel. That is the full class. So congratulations again.
Thank you.
We're going to get on to our Q&As. So start putting your questions in chat. We have our first question. Which is, what was your favorite game this year so far?
Unpacking.
Elden Ring. Oh, go ahead, Panda.
No, go ahead.
No. I think you said first. Go.
No, Unpacking was definitely my game of the year. That was such a delightful, like, surprise. This game is super queer. Like, I sobbed when I was in part 2 of the main character's first apartment. I sat in my room just sobbing. Because it's such good representation. It's got disability representation. It's got BIPOC representation. It has, it's queer representation. It's bi representation. How often do you see that in games where a character is very animately bisexual?
Definitely.
That was easily my game of the year.
No, I'm a huge Soulsborne fan. I also love them. Didn't realize that I was good at them until I started streaming, and I was like, "Oh, I'm actually really good at these games." So I kind of fell into Elden Ring. Like I put like a wild about like 300 odd hours on my first month, and then I can't touch it anymore. Like, I keep wanting to go back to it. No, look, you have to stop because if you start playing again, it's going to be like another $300 before you get to escape again. So I'm just my justification is I'll wait like the first DLC or whatever comes out, and at that point I'm allowed to play it again. But I absolutely loved it. I loved everything. Flawless, truly flawless to me.
Yeah. Mine was Spiritfarer. If anyone's ever played that one. Oh, now my dog's here. Hello. Mine was Spiritfarer, and I didn't think it would be. Like, I thought it looked really pretty and really cute, and that's kind of my kind of game where it's just like open world and you're kind of just running around doing tasks and whatever. But it had a really good backstory. Just it's basically there's a bunch of spirits in there trying to cross over, but they have to deal with some unresolved issues, and it's just a way of how to deal with that and having someone help you with that and things like that. And it was really, I cried a few times, but overall it was just really beautiful and really nice. I really liked it.
So Trauma Queenie 32. Oh, I'm sorry, Holly.
No, go ahead.
Oh, so is the content you're currently making the content you thought you'd be making on Twitch? That's a really interesting question, actually.
No, it certainly is not. I didn't really have a plan for what type of content I wanted to be making on Twitch, so maybe that is a little bit biased. But looking back on some of the things that I've done over the past year and a half, putting on a blonde wig and talking in a Southern accent in a field of corn in a PNG hot tub while singing is probably not something that I would have anticipated that I would be doing on the internet. I don't think I would have anticipated anything. And sometimes I surprise myself, even knowing the type of content that I traditionally create, which is messy and chaotic. Sometimes I still surprise myself. Like the whole Canva thing, I look back and I'm like, what are you even doing? But no, it's not. And ultimately I'm proud of what I do, but it's wild. Definitely not the type of content that I thought I would be making.
I am on the same boat. I just kept throwing myself in the stream and I had no game plan. I was just I'm gonna play games that I think are funny and I'll have fun with and just be an idiot on the internet. And honestly, I'm kind of still the same. The one thing that I'm very proud of about Twitch actually is the community I have. I did not expect the whole community building aspect and to have so many really lovely, incredible people regularly turn up and regularly see my Discord. My Discord's full of idiots, but the nicest idiots you'll ever meet, just posting memes and making each other laugh, and it's just lovely. It's so so nice, and that's one thing I didn't expect. I've got a staggering amount of trans men and lesbians in my community, and I'm a trans man lesbian magnet. And that's just really nice. I've just got so many lovely, unique queer people, and it just brings me so much joy.
You can go,
Chanel,
Panda.
go.
Cool. No, someone can go.
Because I know I yes and no, because I started with The Sims and crocheting and general crafting, and I kind of went through the whole going through different variety stuff and trying out different stuff, because originally my Sim streams were not popular at all. No, I was playing by myself and I'm like, this is boring and I'm not doing it anymore. And then I just started doing nothing but crafting, and then I've slowly started to add games back in. So now it's kind of like a hybrid, depending on how I'm feeling. That's what I'm going to do model. It's now go back to Sims and crafting, but it's not the same. It's the same, but not, I guess is the easiest way to say it. I'm doing more technical stuff. I'm doing more intense crocheting. I'm teaching classes, which I never thought would ever happen in a million years, because I had no desire to ever teach anything, but it just works for my community. So yeah, no, yes and no. I started one way. Everything changed 100 times, and I'm kind of back at square one with a whole different outlook, a whole different way of doing things, better equipment. A lot of my community is significantly different than when I started, and it's pretty fun. And it's everything's just kind of come full circle as I've really started to hit my stride with stuff.
Yeah. For me, I was someone who didn't play a lot of games. I played games growing up, but I didn't play like a variety. Like we maybe had a Nintendo here and there, so I only really end up play like PlayStation 1 maybe, but I would watch my brother play games because that wasn't like the girl thing to do, I guess, but I wanted to play games. And then as I got older and could buy my own things, I started again only playing Nintendo. So I would say I was like, I'm going to be a Nintendo streamer. Like that's what I was like. I'm only going to play Switch games. Like that's going to be the end of it. I don't play PC games, whatever. And now I have a full blown PC, like gaming PC, and I barely play Nintendo games. Like I can't believe how many different games I've tried just because I've discovered them through Twitch, and I'm like, that game looks really cool. Let me try that game. And it's like my biggest draw because it's just like me playing Little Nightmares, which I would never play before, and it's just me trying it and being absolutely terrified the whole time and having like these crazy reactions. But it was because I'm like, I'll try a game once, like whatever, let's do it. And just going full force into it and just like trying all these different things, and it's been really cool.
We'll treat this one as a little quick fire. But Birmingham's drag icon, Virgo, has asked, who would be your dream collab?
I would love to collab with Granny.
Quick fire.
Quick fire. I love Granny so much.
Trish?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know one-on-one person-wise, but I would really like to get a collab with like a AAA game to make crafts based on their game. Like just show that it can be total crossover between the gaming industry and the crafting industry. Like how many of us have seen people make like Yoshi plushies?
Love it. Chanel?
Probably not like a particular person, but I would love, I'm a huge Kingdom Hearts fan. I don't know if you could tell by my keyblades, and it was like the only game I ever beat as a kid. I would love to have like some sort of Kingdom Hearts like collab, like in some way or another. Like huge fan. Square Enix, I guess, but something like that, like creator, whatever.
I'm gonna go the same route as Chanel on this. I'm a huge Bethesda fanboy. I would love anything to do with Bethesda. Bethesda, if you're listening, hello. Huge Bethesda, anything to do with them. I would love to be involved.
Awesome. Who's next? We've got another question from Nissenby. What is your favorite queer / LGBTQIA plus content?
Drag.
There
are incredible, talented drag queens on Twitch, as Holly alluded to earlier on, and honestly, they're each person's so unique, brings their own style. I've made some really incredible friends through them. Like that's been my favorite.
Same, yeah. Drag. Like when I first started on Twitch, I think what kind of drew me in more was finding drag artists on Twitch from like things like Drag Race or Not Drag Race or whatever, and just seeing them stream in drag and do whatever, and it's just like, oh my god, my two favorite things together on a platform, like this is my fave. And then just getting to know them in their communities and whatever else, it's just been such a fun thing.
Yeah, drag literally brought me to Twitch, so I would say that as well. I love the drag artists here and off the platform.
I just love whenever
gaming's own. Oh, I'm sorry, Trish.
No, go ahead. It's fine. Because I was going to say something completely different to drag. I'm for anyone who's loud and queer on the entire service. It is just joyful. That focuses on the joy. We all get to hang out. They introduce people to other queer streamers. So like, I'm just happy to have the queers around. Because we all get to be loud and gay together and like not have to, well, we do have to deal with the BS, but it's just fun to watch those of us who didn't know other people like us played video games, did crafting, that kind of stuff. Like those are the kind of streams that I'm drawn to.
So gaming's own Miabyte, who's in the chat. Everyone say hello to Miabyte.
Hi, Mia.
I can't believe that worked. Has asked a really simple question. If you're all trapped on a desert island, what game would you bring to play together?
I want the drama to start quickly, so I'm gonna have one of those Super Mario ones. It's like Monopoly, but worse. You know the ones you have to collect the stars and you end up hating your best friends by the end of it? I totally forget the name though.
Oh, Mario
Like
Party.
Mario Party.
Thank
Oh,
you.
Mario
That's the
Party.
one. Yeah.
I'm just gonna co-sign Mario Party because absolutely.
No, I
Or
want
Uno.
Among
So
Us.
we're not surviving together on this island
No.
then. We're all dying on this island.
Yo, I want Among Us. Survival
That's
skills.
interesting.
Among Us, there you go. Chanel did it. Chanel's the imposter every time.
I'm a pretty good shapeshifter. Not gonna lie.
Giganta asks, does your community have a name? And if so, what is it?
This was Pointed Holly.
Gosh darn it, Gigi. Well, I wouldn't say it's official or anything, but my Discord's name is the Corn Hub. And I won't apologize for that.
Is that a joke? I don't know. Never mind. I apologize. I'm not getting into that.
Yeah. Oh.
I would say, like, unofficially, I just say Hiya Gang, whatever, but probably the Boogie Bears.
Cute.
Like, that's kind of what I would call them, I guess.
Mine's the Coder Club. And every time we get raided, I play the Venga Bus and we get on that old commercial from Six Flags and then we head to the Coder Club or Six Flags, whatever people want to go. Yeah.
I don't think we have an official one, but I have a lot of merch that says Cozy Coven on it because there's a running joke that I'm actually a vampire queen. So, and we just have a super cozy space.
Enter again. What's your favorite Nintendo game?
Hold up.
Zelda.
Donkey Kong Country. Zelda? Donkey Kong Country. SNES version. Donkey Kong Country.
Probably Mario Party or Animal Crossing.
I was going to say Animal Crossing, yeah.
Very good. Trying to get this to work. It's not coming up. So someone has asked, worst game you've ever played.
Oh, that's
There
a
we
good
go.
question. Worst game.
I think I know what direction I want to take this. So there's a game I played called God's Basement, right? This is the opposite. Do not buy this game. Do not look into this game, right? And it started off your basic kind of horror, whatever, like spooky, and in fairness, it was really scary. But the story was horrific and really bad. Like, I remember getting like involved and then enough to like spend the money and like enjoy halfway. And it got to a halfway point, and it just got really problematic for no reason. And I'm like, oh no, I'm halfway into this game. I need to. Does the end get any better? I know the end got even worse. It's a horrific game. Do not buy it. Avoid it at all costs. Like, if you're a horror streamer, you're like, oh, this looks nice and scary. Don't play it. Don't play it. Avoid it.
I take notes. I can't think of a game that I've like actively disliked. So I'm going to interpret this question in another way, which is what is the worst game on your mental health that you've ever played? And I will answer at dead of night. Screw that game. It's great if you love to be in a horrible place mentally for several hours of your life because it's exclusively jump scares, which I am a horror streamer. I love horror games. Oh my God. That was a difficult game for me to get through. That was hard.
I don't think I have a worst game. I think mine is all the games that from an accessibility standpoint, I can't play. Because there's a lot of games that don't have the accessibility options. And because I have low reaction time due to a traumatic brain injury and my left hand doesn't work like most people's does, there's a lot of games I cannot play. I watch Elden Ring all day long, can't play it.
Just to piggyback off of Pandas, if there's any game devs in the chat or any game devs who watch this, make your games accessible because you're missing a huge portion of gaming people because of that. Same thing with websites. I preach about this on websites too, but make your games accessible. Anyway, my worst game was Outlast. I'm never. I think for the same reason as Holly's, where it's just like it's all jump scares, and it was scary, and the story was like, what the hell is going on? As much as I enjoy running through the dark with just a video camera, never again. So it was I made it, but I probably will never play another Outlast game ever again because it was just like so much for me. But yeah, it was definitely Outlast.
Rita Book has asked, I think it's quite a loaded question. Are there any queer streamers you want to shout out? So
All
no
of
one
them.
say Rita.
I would personally say, please read a book. No, I mean, like, literally, everybody go read a book. Not the streamer.
I would. Oh, sorry. Go, Holly. Go.
No. I was just gonna ramble.
I would like to say Rat Emoji. I love Rat to pieces. Rat is an Australian partner, content creator at DVD, who I just vibe with. Honestly, I think they're so funny. They're so down to earth. They just kind of say things as they come to them, and I think that in the streaming space is kind of rare. Like, it's something that I really appreciate about them. Like, Rat's a really, really, really cool person. So Rat Emoji.
Hey, it's Brendan TTV. He's one of my mods. They're a wonderful human. They have a nice, cozy, smaller community. They are part of a group called the Nintendo Nerds, which are all a bunch of queer nerds that all play games together. He's delightful. His space is delightful. Hanging out there is always a good time. He streams twice a week, a little more often right now because he's on fun employment between jobs because he starts his new job, I think, next week. But they've been wonderful to hang out with, and their streams are super fun.
In addition to Rita, I also want to give a quick shout out to Nikage. If any of y'all need like a weekday, if y'all have weekday PST, EST time zone jobs and you need somewhere to vibe out, Nikage is incredible. She has such high energy. She DJs. So I have her stream on anytime she's streaming. She's lovely, bisexual woman and DJing, just like wholesome, and like her community is really nice to be around. I like it there a lot.
Yeah.
I think I've done that like usual Twitch cardinal sin where you follow them on Twitter and then don't follow them on Twitch. So
I've done that so many times. So bad. Yeah, so for me, I have a couple. I'm always going to shout out my girl SB Simone because we started Twitch like very close together, really close friends, and unapologetically Black, sticking up for anyone. Like before I even started Twitch, or even on Twitch, anytime someone would troll me, like SB's on it. But awesome partner, really into what is it, GTA 5 RPG right now. RP? Yeah, role playing. Yeah. Right now, but amazing nurse player in Dead by Daylight as well. Just hilarious. And then through Black History Month, I met a lot of Black queer streamers that way. And the one I've been vibing with a lot lately is Kiwi on the Sticks. Amazing content creator, hilarious, just really good at games, and then just like so funny overall in her chat. So
also follow Kiwi on Twitter because you want to talk about
Kiwi's
helpful streamer Twitter.
Yeah.
Kiwi's great.
Good actual content for streaming, but yeah, so those two definitely.
Yeah. Also, between two gays, I forgot to mention Ryan and Jace. They're also delightful. They share a channel and it's fantastic over there. Another super cozy, very cool community to hang out with.
We were in a Knockout City tournament with Kiwi on the Sticks, and her team absolutely ruined us.
Kiwi's amazing at that game.
They are devastating at Knockout City.
God, I love Knockout City. So anytime Kiwi's playing, I'm watching.
Brilliant. I'm going to wrap it up there, I think. We've had a fantastic time. Thank you to my panelists, Holly, Panda, Luke, and Chanel. Give everyone one quick whip round where they can find socials, where they can find you in general, in everything that you do. Holly?
You can find me on pretty much every other social platform on ItsMeHolly TV, and I'm ItsMeHolly with one Y on Twitch.
Panda?
I'm Awkwardish Panda. It's at Awkwardish Panda pretty much everywhere here on Twitch. Most active usually on Twitter and Instagram. You can also check out awkwardishpanda.com. We're kind of redoing the site right now, but a bunch of stuff's coming. So
You can find me Monday through Thursday, 1:30 UK time at LukeBoogie on Twitch. You can also find me tomorrow on Front Page between 1 and 3, where we'll be playing Stardew Valley and Kissing Boys. You can find me on most social media at LukeBoogie, aside from Twitter, which is LukeBoogie Games. I'll hopefully see you all there.
And Chanel.
Cool. Yeah. So you can find me everywhere at CoderGirlChan. I'm mostly on Twitch, Twitter, TikTok, the 3 T's. You can find, but mostly Twitch and Twitter. I'm on Twitter all the time. And mostly chatting about obviously gaming content, but I'm very heavy into STEM content as well. So any questions about that, or anytime I have gripes or just any advice on that as well, I'll put it on there too.
Fantastic. Brilliant. Thanks everyone once again. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for the fantastic questions, everyone. Check out the rest of what we have on offer at DigiPride through the way to the end of August. Get on over to gamemag.com/DigiPride for the full lineup. Mia will be here on Wednesday with Let's Go Gaming. We'll be back with a gaming podcast live Sunday, right here on Twitch. Do remember to follow, subscribe, like, share, all the things that you have to do normally for these things. And we will see you very soon. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you for having us.
And
bye-bye.
my computer's
Bye.
Bye.